Now, that was a blasting. Florida Atlantic sends a message. FAU is all alone atop the American Conference, at least by percentage points, and we'll take what we can get in that spot. But FAU lays waste to Wichita State. This one was not particularly close. Florida Atlantic 85, Wichita State 67, and it is our first morning edition of the Florida Atlantic Voice PostUp. Wichita State post game. It is at the time of recording now past midnight Eastern time in South Florida, thanks to that 9 o'clock Eastern time tip. Appreciate it, worldwide leader. Thank you so much, ESPN. But it's much easier to handle when Florida Atlantic annihilates Wichita State 85-67. And what makes it even better is that Florida Atlantic gets some get back from last year, but also Florida Atlantic has strung together 3 straight outstanding games. And by the way, Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. If you're still awake, hit up the live chat. We're here for you. If you have a little insomnia, if you're hopped up on coffee because you stayed up for the game, if you're out with people, maybe you're even at the club. I mean, how about that? If you're at the club and watching this and listening to this,
special.
That is big time.
So how would that look? Hold on one second. I got to hear the
Yeah. Tell your girl to wait.
Yeah, hold my place in line.
You got some FAU basketball to talk about. And, of course, those of you listening after the fact on the Florida Atlantic Voice pod, wherever you get your podcast, please subscribe. But he's Damon Arnette. I'm Ken LaVicka. What we were talking about in the post game, forget numbers for a second.
Okay.
Forget individual performances for a second. But the effort, the want, the desire, the aggressiveness of this basketball team has been so overwhelmingly obvious over the last couple of games. FAU executed better at UAB. Florida Atlantic made Memphis look like it was sleeping for damn near 40 minutes of basketball on Sunday. Florida Atlantic took the will out of Wichita State here tonight. FAU is just simply, they can score. And the defense has gotten better, but Florida Atlantic is just simply outworking everybody that's sharing the floor with them at this point.
No, and you got a lot of credit goes to a lot of people, and as Coach Jacobs mentioned, the coaching staff and Coach Eric being able to come up with the scout. And Coach AD, who runs the defense on a game-by-game basis, and the players for executing it. Because think about how many times, whether it was last season or even early on this season, Coach Jacobs would come up here, particularly after a loss, and just say how the players wasn't executing the scout. And they told them, hey, he's a 45% three-point shooter.
Yeah,
and if they're going to execute a scout like this, I want to go back and play Liberty.
Yes.
I want to go back and play Liberty.
I was thinking about that the other day because FAU started to catch up to Liberty in Ken Palm. Liberty, I believe at last check, 11-3, might have been 10-3. But, and it's not going to happen, but I would love to get a crack. Yeah, no, you're right. But I would love to get a crack at Liberty again because I think the outcome would be much different than FAU playing an offense like that in the fourth game of the season. Now that FAU knows its system, now that these guys have the connectivity. Yeah, I'm with you. That's a great point because I was legitimately thinking about that the other day.
And not only that, what you just mentioned, but the simple fact that they understand they've been on the other end of that, just not stopping a player who they told you can come down here and knock down shots.
Yeah.
Okay, and the players have to take accountability for that, especially when the coaches and you walk through the practice that this player can shoot. I don't even know what the player's name was that kind of opened the game up for him, but that was very reminiscent to the player that we have here in Giles today.
Yeah.
Okay, making 63s up until this point.
Right.
He can knock it down, and they literally took him out of the game.
Let's talk about that because the job that FAU did against Kenyon Giles, whose low scoring mark this season was 9. He's the leading scorer coming into tonight at 18.6 points per game for Wichita State. He had a career high 33. For those of you Spanish speakers at home, that's 33. 33 points against North Texas last time out in a win. 63s, like you mentioned, coming into tonight. That was almost double what the leading three-point shooter for Wichita State had last year. Guess what? He's still on 63s this season. He was able to put up 1 3, and it was contested from the top of the key early in the second half. And Giles had 8 straight games of multiple threes. The program record at Wichita State, long storied history, was 10, and that wiped off the face of the earth with a 2-point performance tonight from Kenyon Giles. Whether it was Kanaan Carlyle, whether it was Devin Vanterpool, whether it was Nico Moretti, they took his soul tonight. That was as good a defensive performance against one individual player as I may have ever seen here at Florida Atlantic.
No, it definitely was, Ken. And as you mentioned, they took his soul. But the simple fact of the matter is that they're executing the scout, okay? And just to put what Giles has been able to accomplish up until this point, he's 5th in the nation in made threes.
Yeah, right.
Okay, he's 5th in the nation in made threes. Now, to put it in further perspective, and for FAU, he's almost doubled Devin Vanterpool, who leads the team in threes at 34. Okay, so Devin Vanterpool leads our team with 34 made threes. Giles has doubled that coming into tonight. And they were able not to, I don't even think, did he get an attempt off?
One.
He
got one attempt off early in the second half, and that was it.
Yeah, so
that's
what I'm saying. So I think that's really and truly, and with a team like Wichita State, knowing how much they rely on him, that was the head of the snake without a doubt.
That's stunning. 5th in the nation in made 3-pointers, and he got one shot off tonight and did not make a single 3. He only took 5 shots, period. He had 2 points, and Robbie LaStella, New Era Preps, who joins me in the football edition of this. We call it the morning after because, well, it's the morning after every FAU football game. But Robbie in the live chat, Giles hadn't scored 2 or less since his freshman year at Radford in 2022. That's 3 straight years of outscoring his output tonight, which was 2. I mean, good Lord. Who do you want to start with individually for FAU? Kanaan Carlyle, Devin Williams. Let's do Devin Williams.
Okay.
Sorry to ask you that and then not give you the choice. That was mean of me.
About them all.
But now Devin Williams, I feel like it's appropriate to start with him because he has the first double-double of his career. 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 more blocks for the guy who was second in the nation in rejections coming into tonight. The team as a whole, 9. I mean, that's incredible. Xander Pintalon had 4, but Devin Williams, the most well-rounded performance of his entire collegiate career. He made the point with us post-game on the Florida Atlantic Sports Network that it had been 2 years since he saw any appreciable action in college basketball. So it's taken him a while to get a little bit more confident finishing around the rim. Does he have more work to do? Obviously. Of course he does. He's still a little bit, I would say, nervy around the rim, but there's more confidence than we saw earlier in the year, especially the opening part of non-conference. But the block totals, the ability to defend, and he banged tonight defensively.
Yes.
We talk so much about his stick-like figure and how he's not big and broad, but man, he's getting in there. He doesn't shy away from the contact. He is trying to put his body on the line. How great is that? I mean, how great is that effort from Devin Williams?
It's great, and you can see much like him, and I can go on with other players. Elohim, you can just see his confidence growing.
I feel like he might be the most underappreciated piece of this team. Yes, he's discussed, but I think sometimes he gets overshadowed by Kanaan Carlyle, who has the ball in his hands an awful lot. Devin Vanterpool, returner, leading scorer. Devin Williams, one of the best in the nation blocking the basketball. But Isaiah Elohim, he's such a key cog to this thing.
He's a very vital part because, as we mentioned in the pregame show, what makes this team so exciting and intriguing, and you kind of wish that they can kind of just continue to keep the trajectory forward, is that all the players don't overlap each other. They don't do the same thing.
Yeah.
You got Devin Vanterpool, who is definitely a two-way player who can stay on the floor even if he's not making shots because of everything else he's going to give you. You have Williams, who's top shot blocker. You have Carlyle, who's able to get knockdown threes, do mid-range pull-ups at will. You have Elohim, who's going to attack the rack relentlessly.
Oof, boy.
Okay, you have the junkyard dog and / Magnan and Maxime Logie, who comes in. It just seems like the game changes when he comes in. He's like, I'm a Michael Jackson fan, Ken. And I don't care if Michael Jackson just has a small part in the song or it's the entire song is his.
That's good enough for you.
When he gets on the mic, he changes the song. I mean, the entire song changes when he starts to sing.
I love that.
Okay, and so
we can call Maxime Logie Thriller.
I can call Maxime Logie Thriller, but I've already given him the Magnet.
You got the Magnet, and I like the Magnet, and I feel like it's stuck, no pun intended, so we might as well just go with
I like the pun intended.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Man, when he steps in the game, it's a different flow.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this team so intriguing. But Devin Williams once he continues to feel more and more comfortable with being around the basket and handling the balls that are dumped off to him or the offensive rebounds he may get. And I like what I saw. We saw 2 jump hooks.
Yeah.
Reverse pivot out.
Yeah.
Jump hooks. He's going to be a force to reckon with as well.
What I like about Devin Williams, too, is that, he got in trouble earlier in the non-conference by trying to finesse balls at the rim, trying to finesse finish. It still at times that's happening, but he is looking for that dunk more. I just get to the rim and crash it.
Yeah. Forget about it. Just try to tear the rim down. And he wasn't just prepared to catch the ball. He had issues in the first quarter of the season, just catching the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that played a role on the confidence. One thing with a guard, they're not going to throw you the ball if they think it's going to be a turnover.
If you keep bobbling
If you keep bobbling, because that turnover goes to them a lot of times.
Yeah. And
I think now the guards are starting to have more confidence in him just catching the basketball. You don't have to score it, but just catch it.
Yeah. Craig in the live chat watching on YouTube. Appreciate you, Craig. What's up, guys? The growth that this team has had is insane. They look like a different team. What is most notable is they look like they're having fun with each other. We've brought up the C word a couple of times over the last few games, the connectivity of this team. They're sharing the basketball. Their switching defensively has vastly improved since they made that change. I believe it was after St. Bonaventure when FAU started switching defensively and sort of made that the identity of the defense, and they've really worked on that, but they're talking. They are moving feet. They are help side defending. And then on offense, that ball's moving. And when it doesn't move, they're setting screens. And sometimes there's probably a little too much dribbling still on offense, but they're trying to open up those ball handlers to get them that mid-range jumper, to get them set up on the block. Yeah, I do think they're having fun with one another.
And don't make no mistake, when you win, it's always fun.
Sure.
But what's more impressive about this is that this fun that you're seeing now is coming off a disappointing loss at Tulane. And I think that sometimes there's pivotal moments in the season that you can kind of trace things back to and say, okay, when did something click? When did something turn around? What was that breaking point almost of enough's enough? We've got to lock in now. And it might be that Tulane game.
Yeah.
And so I'm, to Craig's point about them looking like they're having fun, I'm impressed about the fun that they are having when they're having it after such a devastating loss that, as Coach Jacobs mentioned in the postgame, they could have tanked it.
Yeah.
They could have went up to Birmingham and easily lost.
Yeah.
And then we come back here 0-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with all the fans knowing that. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't know if we win our first home game off the road if we didn't win the UAB game.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many what ifs, and FAU, after giving up that 13-point lead to UAB, able to cinch it up and make winning plays in the final 3.5 minutes against UAB, that has set the table for what we've seen now. You're right. Like that is right now, that's the turning point to this whole thing. And there's still a lot of conference season left to go. And the next 5 games for FAU, hellacious, because Florida Atlantic now 4-1 in the American.
Well, not next 5. Sorry to cut you off, kid. Not next 5. This was the one of the 5.
This was one of the 5. You're right. 5. But now there are 4
Yep.
teams at 3-1 in the league that, at least in the loss column, are tied with Florida Atlantic at the top of the standings. And FAU plays all 4 of them in the next 4 at Temple, You're back home against Tulane trying to look for revenge. And then you're at USF and at Memphis. We are going to find out an awful lot about this basketball team in the next 2 weeks.
I like the way we're kind of front-loaded with the projected top.
Yeah.
Because now as the season finishes up, as they get to the second half or the halfway mark, you definitely can look to kind of make a little run and string a few together. But if we don't win that UAB game, do you think we have the confidence going into a Memphis just because of the name?
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't the Memphis we're used to seeing, granted.
No.
Okay. But still, Memphis coming in and just knowing that they're the flagship by name. Do you think we come in with that confidence to beat them? Not just beat them, but beat them like we did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so and you can liken this to last year's team. Last year's team, we had a couple good wins, but it was just up and down, up and down. It wasn't sustainable for whatever the reason that we all know about. But that's where I'm glad to kind of see how and when this fun, as Craig was mentioning, is happening.
So again, the tests are really, really coming on in waves here in a big tidal wave over the next 2.5 weeks. So cinch it up, because it's not going to be all smooth sailing. There's going to be some turbulence here, and Florida Atlantic is, if you can successfully traverse this within reason, then you start thinking about the back end. And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the way this team is playing right now, they're going to be in position to win basketball games. Can they make enough winning plays?
Well, Ken, I would say to your turbulence comment, and you're right, every season is going to have it. But what if we've already had ours? I mean, think about the losses that we've had and who we've lost those games to. Go back to George Mason. Mm-hmm. Go back to the Liberty game, just not execute.
St. Bonaventure, UCF.
Exactly. Maybe we've had ours.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for the sun to shine right now, and allowing us to grow, because the seeds have been planted already.
On its face, there is no, and I'm a big nerd and I watch a lot of American Conference basketball. I know you do as well.
Right.
I have not seen through 5 games of the conference season a team where just I say to myself, boy, they're better than FAU. There is no team right now that I think is on its face better than FAU. USF runs baseline to baseline. They put up a ton of shots. They score a ton of points. Memphis, preseason favorites. We saw what happened Sunday when FAU had their way with them, especially on the boards. Tonight, Wichita State. Florida Atlantic had this game over 3 minutes into the second half and then just continued to pour it on. When you have an 18-point win that's not even close to what the actual amount of dominance was, that's pretty impressive. We're going to find out how FAU stacks up with Temple on Sunday, but they struggle to score at times. And so Florida Atlantic, if they continue to play the same defense, they should be in a pretty good position. Tulane should have beat them, and you have them here next week. That's a great opportunity. So again, just personnel, the way they're playing, the way they've played, there is no team in the league better than Florida Atlantic. Could that change? Sure. But right now, at this moment, no, there's just not.
No, and I really hope this fun can turn into confidence, okay? And I really hope that this fun that we're having turns into a confidence that they start walking in expecting to win.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me the Ohio States of the world and all that don't get off the bus knowing they about to beat the brakes off somebody?
We're going to get in, we're going to get out, and we're going to enjoy the plane ride
just like,
home.
man, I don't know why they put you on our schedule.
Yeah.
So, but that takes time. That takes a lot of confidence and security to know that you put the work in order to be able to have that type of athletic arrogance, if you want to call it, or just expectation. But that's where I hope this can come, because you're right, Ken. There is a lot of parity in the American right now, and let everybody else beat up on each other. But if we're able to just kind of get out the block and get a little separation between us, however the cards may fall, that can go a long way.
Dark in the live chat. Team is special. Let's go. King of Podcasts reading my mind, because I was about to bring this man up. I like tonight how FAU was able to pick up on the scoring when Vanterpool struggled, unlike what happened at UCF or Tulane. I want the team to play dominant and win without relying on Vanterpool to be at the top of the stats. Boy, you sound like Damon Arnette. I mean, early on this season, you said multiple times, this team is not going to win if you have to rely on Devin Vanterpool game after game after game after game. That hasn't been the case in a while now. And honestly, FAU nearly beating UCF without Vanterpool, I thought that, yes, if Vanterpool plays, you probably win that game, but I thought FAU did enough scoring.
Yes, they did.
Florida Atlantic just didn't do enough defending in the second half in that game. But Vanterpool tonight, only one made field goal, 1 of 7, 0 of 3 from 3. And Florida Atlantic, meanwhile, look at this balance. 18 for Carlyle, 18 for Elohim, 14 for Williams, 11 for Pintalon, 8 for Maxime Logie. That'll get it done. Devin Vanterpool. And what I love about Dev, he's not going to sulk that he didn't score, because that dude went down and continued to defend his ass off all night.
To your point, Ken, as we look at today's game, and he struggled offensively, but he still had the highest plus-minus of anybody on the team.
That is perfectly put. That's a great observation. Devin Vanterpool, 1 of 7 from the field, and was a plus 26. That's elite. I mean, that's overwhelming.
That's overwhelming, and that's why I say he's the kind of player that no matter what's happening with his offensive game, you still leave him on the floor. Now, this is what's happening to everyone listening and want to know what's going on, because this is kind of like maybe the second game in a row, maybe second and a half game in a row that he's sputtering a little bit. Devin is dealing with being the number one person on the scouting report.
Yeah.
Okay? And we've said that as the season started off, that's going to be an adjustment for him. Okay. Now, everyone else is coming out of their adjustment. Everyone else is starting to feel comfortable. But Devin is not at that space right now because of how the season started for him.
Yeah.
He didn't start off slow. He didn't start off trying to get his feet underneath him. He came out like, okay, I've been working on my game. I'm about to be MVP of this league, as he should have.
Yeah.
Now the scouts are coming, and he's going through a tinkering period now, and that's natural to happen. Yep. Okay, but I'm so glad to see nothing else about his game has been affected.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's not forget, too, Devin Vanterpool, in his college career, has never been the guy. He is only 18 games into his first year of being the guy. He was a defensive specialist in the rare moments he played last year, and he didn't really play consistently until the final, month of the season. So now, yeah, he's the guy. He's the best two-way player in the league. I'm going to stand by that. But, yeah, you've got to continually evolve your game. And he's not the type of volume scorer that maybe a Kanaan Carlyle with his natural basketball approach is, or even an Isaiah Elohim. And I think he can be, at least especially in Elohim, a guy who's going to get to the rim. I think Elohim has maybe a little bit better handle and ability to angle his body than Devin Vanterpool does, but that's simply because I think Elohim's been doing it longer. That's been part of his basketball ID, as opposed to Vanterpool, who a lot of this stuff, he developed the full cachet over the summer and now is trying to not only apply it consistently, but then adjust his defenses, throw more looks at him.
Yeah, and Devin's going to get it. No one comes in and puts the kind of work in and turns himself into the type of player that he's made without work. So now is just, this is his challenge now.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone has it within the game, and he's going to answer the bell, but right now he's going through an adjustment period, and we're able to win as he's figuring out this new Devin Vanterpool effect on teams and on scouting reports, because he's going to remain there.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not going to, I don't care if this 7 points, 0 points, 2 points, whatever he had, he's still the number one player to defend.
Right.
When Temple is getting ready for us.
Wichita State against North Texas, they turned the ball over 18 times, but they turned 12 North Texas turnovers into 18 points off turnovers.
Okay.
That's what won them the game, and the Giles 33 points. They turned the ball over a lot, but they took advantage of the turnovers they forced, turned them into points. The reason I bring that up is FAU forced 12 Wichita State turnovers tonight, and FAU turned it into 17 points. That is winning basketball. And there's a lot of reasons FAU took the club to Wichita State tonight, but that's one that stands out to me that might fall by the wayside with a bloated stat sheet for Florida Atlantic. But that right there, being opportunistic, sort of daggering a team and hurting them with their own mistakes, like that's how you continue to make that leap and go level to level to level.
No, you're exactly right, kid. And in addition to that, we were able tonight play without fouling. We didn't get into the double bonus. I think it was 3 straight games that we committed a foul within the first 20 seconds.
I mean, Wichita State shot 23 free throws, but a lot of that was garbage time in the final 5 minutes of the game.
And so we was able to play defense without fouling, and we were able to keep I keep his name Giles.
Yeah, Kanaan Giles.
Line, even when he wasn't scoring.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they did multiple things very well defensively that made it tough. And I was actually surprised that the coach for Wichita State did not do a better job of getting Giles in certain positions to be able to get the ball.
Well,
Giles didn't shoot the ball because he didn't have it most of the time.
Well, and we saw him take the ball up maybe a couple of times in the second half, but FAU did a great job of fighting through screens. And by that point then, they just had Giles snuffed out, and Paul Mills just decided, hey, we got USF up next. We're going to throw up the white flag. Yeah.
He took him out with 9 minutes to go in the game.
It was just such an impressive, and that word doesn't even begin to describe how immaculate, maybe that's a better word, Florida Atlantic was against Kanaan Giles. FAU up next goes to Philadelphia on Sunday to take on Temple. Did you see it? It's supposed to be in the low 20s. In Philadelphia. Like, we're freaking out here because the wind chill might get in the upper 30s here over the next couple of days. And, that sucks. Make no mistake, that sucks. But low 20s, that's the type of stuff that starts freezing the inside of your nostrils when you simply walk outside.
Yeah.
Bleep that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Just atrocious. Just
Are
awful.
You ready, kid?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Will you be jogging up there?
No, because I do have a certain breaking point. Anything below 32 degrees, and I opt for the treadmill. I'll do 33, I'll do 34, but I ain't doing 24.
Because you done took your Chicagoan, Illinois?
Chicagoan
pass from you. So you're down here in boots and hats at 40 degrees.
I'm too old, and I've accomplished too much in my life to subject myself to the type of torture that it takes to run in 24-degree weather. I have a meeting with the treadmill Sunday morning there in Philadelphia. Trying to one more thing I want to bring up before we wrap. Nico Moretti, the UCF game has completely turned the season for him. No Vanterpool forced a lot onto the plate of Nico Moretti. And maybe he was starting to show some signs before that, but that UCF game, the increased responsibility, the improved health of that ailing ankle, it has turned Nico's season around. And Nico has not had a terribly incredible run of score lines here since he started to play better, but he comes on the floor and you're going to get some electric basketball from him in transition. That bounce pass he made from the backcourt over his head, one-handed bounce pass to Carlyle, who finished at the rim. I mean, that's just the European Italian flash. That's a confident basketball player. That's a guy who's seeing the floor extremely well. That was hot.
No, that was
hot.
That was a very nice play, and that could have easily been the play of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatnot. But Nico is, and you can tell Nico's game is what you're seeing now as a result of conversations, I'm sure, with the coaches, because he's coming in, and early on he was looking to get himself going and scoring opportunities and look to take advantage of that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I believe that the coaching staff reset his priorities when he's out there on the floor. Which is now the domino effect of that is now you have Carlyle off the ball, being able to slice. And for people that don't understand this with basketball, there's a big difference from attacking from the top as opposed to attacking from the wing.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot more space. There's less eyes because when you're at the top, you got 10 eyeballs on you.
Sure.
When you're at the wing, you probably got 6.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yep.
Okay, and so being able to get to your spots is a lot easier when you're from the wing, and that's where Carlisle is able to thrive now, especially when Nico's in the game.
Kanaan Carlyle single-handedly bringing back the mid-range jumper makes me have belief that humans as a society can pull themselves out of this funk, and we can have a utopian society. Thank you to Kanaan Carlyle for bringing the mid-range back. It's been too long. Craig on YouTube, y'all need a petition to have the student section switch sides so the cameras are picking up the good vibes. I don't want to harp on this too much because I did it a lot last post up after the Memphis game. The students were awesome tonight. Full student section. It bled into the second level. That was great. It's good to have them back on campus. It's good to have that energy. I don't know if this is going to sound too mean, and I'll take the heat if this sounds too mean. But to the community at large, to the FAU fans at large, I can't say this forcefully enough. And it's just like Rick Pitino when he was the coach of the Celtics, okay? Where he said Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Danny Ainge ain't walking through that door. Robert Parrish ain't walking through that door. I'm going to say this to FAU fans, and I hope that you consume it. I hope you're not offended by it, but this is important. Dusty May ain't walking through that door. Elijah Martin ain't walking through that door. Vlad Golden ain't walking through that door. Nick Boyd ain't walking through that door. If you are hung up on, and I know they are beloved figures, they will always live in our collective psyche here at Florida Atlantic. But if you are unwilling to move on and can't buy into the fact that through 5 games, this FAU team is, even if it's early, in a championship hunt. FAU, at the time you listen to this, if it's before the Temple game, will have sole possession of the American Conference by percentage points, at least before the weekend games start in the American Conference. If you can't appreciate that, if that can't get you to buy the super affordable tickets here to get into the Elly and see a championship caliber basketball team, a team that right now has raised eyebrows early in the conference season, has been the best team in the league, if you can't bring yourself to do that, then I will say that it is wildly disappointing. And I don't know if it's that, but it feels like it's that. I know that FAU Athletics is desperately trying to move tickets. Nationally televised game, 9 o'clock. I know it's late, but come on. We did this a couple of years ago. We did this last year, Wichita State, 9 o'clock, big crowd. We did this a couple of years ago, 9 o'clock, SMU coming in for the Sandstorm game, sold out crowd. 9 o'clock tips haven't mattered in the past. After you beat Memphis, where it was a disappointing crowd, and you have a nationally televised game again back-to-back, and you can't fill up the general side, that's a problem. That's a bad look. That's disappointing. That's not good enough. So, again, it's time to get over the Final Four team, and it is time to embrace this team that is playing aces basketball right now. And I don't want to have to beat this into the ground and beat this into people's craniums, but enough already. I don't know what it's going to take to get butts in seats. Florida Atlantic has a big one at Temple Sunday, and you come home and you have a revenge game against Tulane, who also ended Florida Atlantic's season last year. Damn it, get out here. It's ridiculous that this was not a sellout tonight.
No, it really is. And to Craig's point about the TV cameras has got to be on this side right now because this is the TV side of it. The only thing they could do is just swap which side is the fan side.
Yeah,
because of the way the words are on the court.
Right, and you're not gonna you've sold your tickets for the season. You're not gonna move the students over to the other side.
But I don't know. There should be normally a floating cameraman though to kind of take care of that. I don't know if ESPN had that here or this game.
And the visuals were fine. I mean, the student section was great. It's disrespectful. I don't know why you're waffling, why you're wavering at this point. You beat your arch nemesis in Memphis appreciably on Sunday, and that still wasn't enough to have every seat filled, and I think it's disrespectful.
And you know what, Ken? I hear you. I would like to, before the game, as the game starts to tip off, I would move all the people from the upper row down and let them have the seats on the bottom row and fill that whole lower level up first, because the salt and pepper seats that are up there on the top row, And I know they're going there and there's assigned seats. I would love to have the ushers just move everybody down and say, hey, go find a seat on the lower level.
I just don't know. That's a whole separate discussion, but what is it going to take? Like, that's my thing. What is it going to take to have these people come out? You have, through 5 games, a first-place basketball team. Well, I don't know what more can be done at this juncture. And it's a big if because Temple is very good, but if Florida Atlantic comes back 5-1 with Tulane coming in next week, there's just no excuses.
I don't think you're still dealing with a crowd that, and as I said, that's why this team has got to win over the community.
What more do they have to do, though?
Well, they got to keep doing it. They don't have to do anything more other than just be consistent and keep doing it, because what's going to happen is this. When Temple comes in here, I guarantee you this is going to be a full crowd just because of the familiarity of Temple.
Yeah.
When South Florida comes in, and those are the games you got to win in front of those fans for them to see the product.
I guess it's just disappointing me because I thought we were past that. I thought that
we are past it, Ken. I mean, we're not past actually selling out and actually having every seat with someone sitting in it. I get that. But I think we are past it to the point where we can expect always a 3/4 crowd. And that's what we had again tonight, 3/4 full. Okay. The student section was tremendous, as always.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now we just got to get that other side of the court going, which is the community.
I hate to continue digging in on it, but I think it's important.
Well,
because,
no, don't continue digging in on, because that's how it's part of the change.
Yeah. I think it's important. And I don't mean to undercut all the great performances that FAU had tonight and the win tonight over Wichita State, but I didn't want to wrap up this post-up show, Florida Atlantic Voice, without mentioning that again, because it has to be better. It just flat out has to be better from FAU fans. So let's wrap it. It is Friday morning at the time of us recording this, we're broadcasting live. And for those of you who are listening after the fact, it is already Friday morning after a Thursday night game. So Florida Atlantic is 12-6, 4-1 in the American, and Damon and I are headed to Philly for FAU in Temple.
Which, by the
Sunday.
way, ranked where on your food city list?
It's top 3, though I will say the Philadelphia cheesesteak, wildly overrated. Wildly overrated. But the Italian food in Philadelphia, aces. Just the best. Philadelphia Italian food, significantly better than the gooey pile of meat and cheese. Anything that has Cheese Whiz as a core part of its culinary construction. I'm better than that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely better than that.
I think Publix has a better Philly.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, man. If you said that to someone in Philadelphia, they would try to fight you.
That's fine. I should bring a Publix Philly sandwich up there.
You're walking with the beef juice rolling down your face, the big Publix wrapper on it. I like that, actually.
Exactly.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Florida Atlantic Voice, post-up Wichita State edition. That is Damon Arnette. I am Ken LaVicka. We will talk to you Sunday. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for listening after the fact, if you are one of those who are going to consume it. And thanks for jumping in the live chat, everybody who stayed up late, or early. Depending on how you look at it, chicken or the egg. This has been the Florida Atlantic Voice, presented by Robes Law Group, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. Personal injury lawyers. We will talk to you next time. This has been the Florida Atlantic Voice. Bye.